live lab. We're going to start off today with just a couple of announcements, nothing major. We do have the Labor Day holiday coming up on Monday, so we'll not have class on Monday, 3-day weekend. Hallelujah on that one. I highly recommend if you're in the Morgan City area this weekend, you come on down to the Shrimp and Petroleum Festival. The party starts tonight and it goes through Monday. It goes through Monday. So that being said, if y'all need me over the weekend, just bear with me because I will not be home. I will not be in front of a computer. I will be in a park. I will be at a fair. I will be at an arts and crafts show. I will be at my friend's house. Um, I will not be around the computer this weekend, just a heads up. But as y'all know, there is nothing so dire that we can't handle it when we get back in class on Tuesday, right? So if you can't get in touch with me over the weekend, via my phone or Teams or something like that, um, don't freak out. We'll take care of whatever it is on Tuesday. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. So Labor Day, NCCT prep is still going on Tuesdays. I don't have a lot of y'all in there right now. And that's okay because I think I got a big group of grads coming out in December and October, and I feel like y'all are pretty well prepared for that. Y'all kind of got it down. Y'all are doing great. So join in if you'd like to. If you would not like to, that is, it's a totally optional thing. And again, that is geared towards students who are closer to finishing their program and preparing to take that exam. Just a reminder to my new students. And also that if you have not worked in the medical field before and you are a new student, a lot of what we review is not going to be familiar to you. So I don't want to get you confused either. But again, you're more than welcome to hop in if you want to. But those are not recorded because they are just, you can ask Michelle. I think she's finally gotten tired of coming to them because it's practice review questions over and over again, essentially. We learn the material through the program, and then once we start reviewing, it's practice test questions. So I think that's about it as far as announcement goes, guys. We did start a new module today. Everybody should be aware of that. So by all means, if you are not done in the module that ended yesterday, please make an effort to get all that work completed as soon as possible. I will turn in grades in the morning for that, but y'all know I will update them. We can turn in grade correction. So grades will go in the morning, but if I've got several of y'all with COVID right now, I am working with those students and we will turn in grade corrections for them. So don't worry if you're in that camp. Okay. There's a lot of sickness going around right now. COVID, strep. It is just everywhere. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead. I think that's it for announcements. Let's go ahead and jump into today's presentation. All right. So because we have this large group of new students, and we are continuing on in MOS. Y'all have been noticing that at the end of this last module and starting today with this new module, we are continuously doing exercises in MOS. And the reason for that is to get you guys accustomed to that software, that same type of software that you're going to use in the medical office. So what we are going to do today, I'm going to share my screen. We're going to talk a little bit. Can y'all see my what is a health record page there? Awesome sauce. All right. So I think I'm just going to keep it like that and not make it any bigger. I'm going to read out the little blurb. If y'all can't read it, it's okay. So we're going to talk about what's a health record, who owns it, and how it plays into your job, essentially. Okay. All right. So what is a health record? A patient health record is a complete collection of an individual's healthcare information. Federal laws have been put in place that require all patient care to be documented in a health record. Although paper records can still be found, the vast majority of healthcare providers are documenting patient care in an EHR or electronic health record. Okay. All right. So as medicine and technology is advanced, like y'all have heard me say, we primarily file claims electronically, and that's what y'all are going to be doing over the next week in Moss is batching and practicing sending those batches of claims out at the end of the day. Like I said, at the end of every day, all the claims that we file go out at one time. Doctor's appointments. No problem, Michelle. No problem. Um, Y'all might have to turn the chat off because I want to stop and read it. Um, but okay, so all of the information that is collected on you every time you go to your doctor is put into the record, right? And it used to be these big paper files that you'd look at, behind the receptionist, and there'd be this wall of manila folders, right? That's all the patient charts and records and stuff like that. So nowadays, those are still there some in some offices. But nowadays it is backed up. If they still have paper, I promise you they have electronic also, and the papers are just there for backup. Because almost everything's got to be done electronically now and secured. There are laws that say that they have to be electronic, and there are laws that say they have to be secured electronically, that nobody can hack into their systems and stuff like that, right? And that's part of HIPAA. And I think next week we're going to do a deep dive into HIPAA. I think we're going to be getting there, and that's going to be some need to know stuff for y'all too. But back to the record. So again, those big manila folders holding all of your different encounter forms, like y'all been filling out in Moss, would go into that paper record. They'd be printed out and put in there or saved electronically, digitally nowadays. And that makes up your record. Okay. Now, one would think, because that's your information, right? That's your medical information, that you would own that record. That would be the logical way of thinking, but that is not correct. Patient health records are considered the property of the individuals who created them. So that record, that big manila folder with all of your health information in it, all of your past encounter information, all that documentation on you, your doctor's office owns that. The hospital owns that record. Do you have a right to it? Yes, you do. You have the right to request it at any time, and they have to provide you a copy. Now, because they own it and they're doing you a service by providing you a copy, they can charge you money for it. It takes time for somebody to pull those records, to print them out, to get them sent to you, to email them to you. However they do it, somebody's got to stop and take time to do that. Okay. It takes supplies, paper, ink, whatever. All right. So they may charge you a fee. Some do, some don't. It depends on the doctor, okay, or the office, however they're set up. But just bear that in mind, because I know that comes up on the NCCT. Who owns the patient health record? It is not the patient. It is the person that created it. It is the office that created it. And the original always stays there. Right. The patient has the legal right to access or view a copy of his or her own medical information at any time by signing a medical release form. However, the original copy of that record never leaves the facility that owns it. So even if you're moving and you go to that office and you say, give me my record so I can take it to my new doctor when I move, they're not going to give you the original. By law, they have to retain those records for a certain amount of time. Okay. So they're never going to give you the original, but they will make you a copy for you to take with you for a fee. Or they will also, if you go to your new doctor and you fill out a release form, the new doctor will send it in for you and have those records sent over. And usually you don't have to pay if you go that way, but you have to go to that new doctor, fill out the form, get them to send it, wait for them, wait for office staff to do their thing. And, that could take you more time. So those are the options when it comes to accessing your own information. So let's talk real quick. For our new students, we're going to do it can be a little bit confusing when we talk about electronic health records because we can be talking about all of your information, your patient health record, or we could be talking about an EHR system, an electronic health record system that's owned and operated by a big facility, a hospital network, something like that. So a couple of different ones, and y'all will see how close they sound and why they can get confusing. All right. So an EMR or electronic medical record, um, electronic health record that allows the management of patients' health information by authorized clinicians and staff members within a single healthcare organization. An EMR is an electronic version of that paper record. Okay. So when we're talking about it in electronic form within that one facility, that one provider's office, it may be called an electronic medical record, an EMR. If they tell you to pull a patient's EMR, that's what they're wanting that chart. Okay. All right. So an EHR, an electronic health record that allows for the management of a patient's health information by multiple healthcare providers and stores the patient's contact information, legal documents, demographic data, administrative information, all of that. The term can also refer more broadly to a system that manages such records. Okay, so y'all have heard me talk before about locally, we have the Ochsner's healthcare system here. All right, and they have an EHR system called Epic. All right, so Epic is what, when I go to the doctor, the nurse that I deal with is typing in all my notes in Epic. And I watch her do it. And that's how I know how cool it is because I've looked at it while she's entering stuff in and I'm like, wow, that's a great system. And she looks at me and she's like, what do you do for a living? And I'm like, medical billing. And she's like, that's why you know it's a good system. And I'm like, yeah, it's really clear cut and just a great system to work on. It looks amazing. I personally have never gotten to work on it in a professional fashion, but it's amazing how my records are handled through the Ochsner system. Okay, I have at least I'm a diabetic with spine injuries and all kind of stuff. So I have my regular primary care doctor. I have my lady doctor, right? My gynecologist. I have an orthopedist that I see for my joint and spine stuff. I have an endocrinologist that I see for my diabetes management and blood sugar meds and stuff like that. Okay. I also see a dermatologist because every year I go and I get skin cancer removed from my body. Um, so that's five right there, doctors that I see at least once, and that's not including my eye doctor, diabetic neuropathy, and glaucoma. Yay, fun stuff. But so I see a ton of different doctors, right? Most of them are in the Ochsner Health System. So whichever doctor I go to, those test results are all put into this one system, and all of my different doctors can see it. So that's fantastic. Say I go to my primary care doctor and I let her know, hey, Dr. Sarmiento, who is my endocrinologist, and the three of us have had a discussion. I don't let my primary care doctor mess with my meds. My endocrinologist handles that. Not that I don't trust my primary care doctor, she's great, but she's not a specialist on blood sugar issues. My endocrinologist is my specialist with having to do with my pancreas, the functioning of my kidneys and my organs, and that is my primary concern is my diabetes management. So that's who handles my meds. But so when I go see my regular doctor and I say, hey, Dr. Sarmiento, we changed this, I'm on this now. She can look it up right in the system and go, yeah, okay, we're on this now, we're on this now, okay. And I'll, instantly she's up to date on my stuff, right? Um, my eye doctor, every year I have to get screened for the glaucoma, so they can keep track of where it's at. My endocrinologist wants to know how my eyes are doing, how my blood sugar is affecting my eyes. So I actually upload that report from my eye doctor into my system from my app on my phone because she's not in the Ochsner system. But there's an upload option for me to put that documentation in there for my doctors to see. at Ochsner. So it is an amazing system. They have this huge EHR system that all of their doctors and offices are connected to. All of my data is in there, and I have an app on my phone. That's the patient management system app on my phone that lets me access my appointment scheduling. I love it. I can message my doctor if something's wrong, something's not working, and she messages me within the day. Okay, come make an appointment, go to urgent care. I can fit you in today. All right, I'm gonna change this med right quick. It's amazing. It's amazing. Okay. So fantastic system, but and that's what these systems are for. Efficiency, accuracy. Okay. Efficiency, accuracy. They make things faster, easier, and keep it all a lot better organized. All right. And it also, unfortunately, it's one of the ways that they keep tabs on prescription drug abuse. All right. If all of your doctors are putting in on the same system, I can't go to two different doctors and be like, "Hey, I need some pain meds." Because they're going to see on the other end of it, well, so and so gave you pain meds on this day. I can't give you pain meds again. So that's one way it helps outside of our job, just humanity as a whole, right? Drug abuse is a huge thing. And unfortunately, the good people, and y'all will find this in every facet of life, work, personal life, politics, religion, all of it. The good suffer for the bad, no matter what. And unfortunately, that's just a fact of life. The good suffer for the bad. Good employees suffer for bad employees. We lose the good ones lose privileges because bad employees take advantage of whatever they take advantage of, and we end up losing privileges. You know, same thing. There's been a lot in politics lately that they're cutting back on benefits and different things because so many people for so long have just used and used and used with it, with little oversight, with little to no checking in and making sure that all these benefits were paid like they were supposed to and they're being used how they're supposed to. People have been taking advantage of the system for a long time. So now a lot of people are upset because checks and balances are being put into place. And I do expect some changes to come about with insurance, prescriptions, all this different stuff. Like it seems to me they're taking care, they're looking at things inside of the big budget stuff first, education, social security, defense, all this stuff. Um, See, I am gonna have to turn off the chat thing because it's distracting me. But they're taking care of these big budget items. That's what the whole Doge thing has been about first. And I am fully expecting some changes to come into the healthcare system. And I'm hoping, dear God, will somebody please put some oversight on big pharma? Like, please. I should not have to go into debt for my diabetes meds. And guess what? I had to this month. I literally had to put my meds on a credit card this month because my company changed my insurance plan. Now I have a $250 pharmacy deductible. So instead of my $40 copay when I went to get my meds this month, it was $285. Yo, I'm an average American citizen. I don't have an extra $300 just to throw around. I really don't. Okay. So that threw me for a loop, and I actually did without my meds for 2 months before I was able to clear up enough space on a card where I could get this done. So I get, I'm right there with y'all with the struggles. I'm right there with y'all. Okay. But hopefully things are going to improve for our country soon. All right. So any questions? Let's see. We didn't talk too much about PMS. All right. So patient management software, like I said, that's kind of like the app on my phone. Software used in a medical office to accomplish administrative or non-clinical tasks, including entry of patient demographics, record keeping, insurance, and other billing transactions, appointment scheduling, and advanced accounting functions, right? So PMS is usually practice management software or patient management software. You'll see both, okay? And I think in this particular one, they're talking about practice management software being like Epic within the office, okay? The specific software that they use in the office to handle all the billing, the documentation, the uploading of the documents, the data management, the generation of patient statements every month, and all that kind of stuff, okay? That's what your PMS would do. All right. So, real quick, and we're not going to go into too much detail because I want to say we actually went over this not too long ago. The new curriculum has got us kind of thrown off, y'all. We're on how things are kind of lined up and how they're supposed to go. But so, what information is found in these health records? And as y'all are finding out as you go through MOST, in the clinical part, that's where all your stuff that has to do with your patient, the actual medicine part of it comes into play. Your allergies list, your immunization records, laboratory reports, surgical reports, hospital records, vital sign charts, history, all that stuff is going to be on the clinical side of things. All right. Your administrative side is going to be everything you need to handle the business. All right. To handle, it's going to be your patient demographics, your emergency contact. If the patient was referred to you or if you refer them out to somebody, you're going to keep copies of that. Any prior authorizations that you get are going to be notated in there. All of the copies of insurance cards, whenever you verified their insurance, all of that will be kept on that administrative side. And also all the billing stuff, the account ledgers, their balance owed, payments posted by insurance, all that kind of stuff is all going to administrative side. And the legal side, all right? Health record release forms, consent forms, and privacy notices. That's our big things. All right. We need consent to bill their insurance. We need consent for them to either view their records or send them to another doctor. And they need to know our privacy notices and what we're doing with their information, and that we're not just giving it out willy-nilly. Okay. All right. And I think that is about it. That's the highlights of health records. And hopefully that will kind of clear up some things for my newer students that are just starting in MOS. The whole point of MOS is for you guys to be comfortable day one. All right. We have this thing once or twice a year called advisory board. We get employers from all around Louisiana to come in. Usually it's me. I give because I'm the lead instructor. I give this nice long presentation about our curriculum and our program to all these people. It's nerve-wracking. I don't like it, but I'm the one that's chosen to do it usually, so I do it. Even though I'm nervous the whole time. But so to all these, company VPs and directors of HR and all these higher ups in these big companies, and it's little old me telling them about our program. And we get advice from them. We get feedback from them. We ask them to fill out a questionnaire. What did you like about it? What did you not like about it? What would you like to see more? What do you want to see our students knowing when they finish the program? And that's why earlier this year, some of y'all like Michelle, I think Michelle was here during the curriculum switch. That's why we switched curriculums. We had one for 2 to 3 years. Well, guess what? The industry changes in a few years' time. So we're going to keep changing with it so that you guys can be as successful as possible. But we take a lot out of that advisory board meeting. Because that's literally, those are the people that when we have a great graduate, career services getting on the phone. Hey, I've got this fantastic student, 4.0 star student, every Zoom meeting, go getter, wants it. Got anything open? you know? So, so yeah, these are the people that we call when we have great students. These are the people that end up hiring our students. Okay. Straight out of the program a lot of the time. And the things that I bring to y'all outside of the curriculum are things that they have specifically asked us to get y'all comfortable with. The things that when they hire somebody, this is the biggest issue. Like that's one of our most common questions and things. When we have a new hire, this is the thing I wish they knew the most. And it's often it has to do with insurance. And often it has to do with being comfortable calling and talking to an insurance company about a medical claim. And that's not something that everybody's just comfortable doing off the bat because you're unsure, right? You're unsure. I remember the first time I called an insurance company, I didn't even get past the automated system. I had to hang up and stand up above my cubicle and go, I need somebody to tell me what an NPI is and where do I find it? I don't know. Okay. So by the time y'all are out of this program, you're going to know what an NPI is. Michelle, what's an NPI? Let me put you on the spot.
That's it's a physician assigned number that you need when filling out, like
Everything.
the CMS 1500 or yeah, prior
Everything.
authorizations, you're gonna need it, or yeah, pretty much everything.
Pretty much everything. Right. It's
I don't know what
called
it stands for.
National Provider Identifier. All right. And the deal is with that national provider, national, so the entire nation. It's a United States thing. Every doctor that practices medicine, whether that be an MD, a nurse practitioner, it doesn't matter. If they are practicing medicine, they have to have an NPI number registered with the federal government. It is common knowledge. There's a website you can go to find out any physician's NPI. It's not a it doesn't tie to any accounts or anything. It just states that this doctor practices medicine and they are registered with the government to do so. Okay. And it's how they identify doctors on things like claim forms and stuff like that, instead of having to use like their social security numbers or something like that, you know? So, yes, a national provider identifier is something that every doctor, facility, hospital, organization has, and you need to know what it is when you're doing work for them. Okay. So excellent. Great. Thank you for proving my point, Michelle. um, but yeah, so that's about all I've got for today. Um, do you guys have any questions for me while we're here before we go on a long weekend? No? Alrighty then. Well, folks, y'all have a wonderful holiday weekend. Enjoy it, stay safe, and maybe I'll see you Tuesday for NCTCT. If not, I'll see you next week on Thursday back here for Live Lab. Have a great one. All right, Taylor, I'm going to stop the record.
I do have a quick question.